Hi there, my name is Gillian and welcome back to another video. We've just started a brand new year and lots of people have set some New Year's resolutions. But I'm sure that you know the thing about New Year's resolutions is that most people quit them by the end of January and they never achieve their goals. Over the past few years, I've achieved a lot of my goals, including writing and publishing a book, buying an investment property, starting and selling a business. And so in today's video, I just wanted to share with you guys the 6-step process that I use to consistently achieve my big goals. Step number 1 might be pretty obvious, but that is to set a clear goal. I've found that the more precisely I define exactly what I want to achieve, the easier it is for me to achieve it. I think that there's 2 reasons for this. One is that when the goal is really clear, it is easy for me to take action because I know what I should do in order to achieve it. And the second reason why you're more likely to be able to achieve a clear goal is because when you have your goal set clearly, it is much less overwhelming. So when you're setting your big goals, write it down and make sure that you state exactly what you want to achieve, quantify it, and set a date that you want to achieve it by. Okay, so step number 2 is really important, but it's something that most people don't do. And that is to find a mentor or expert, someone who has already achieved the goal that you want to achieve, and interview them and ask them what the key things that they did that helped them to achieve that goal were. So for example, if you want to become a New York Times bestselling author, then what you need to do is you need to find some people who either are New York Times bestselling authors or at least are successful authors to some degree. And I'm not saying that it will be super easy to find these people necessarily, but there are thousands and thousands and thousands of authors out there, and it is relatively easy to find their contact information and just send them an email and say, I'm an aspiring author and I have a few questions and I wondered if you could get back to me. Or if you want to run a marathon, then you need to find some people who have successfully run marathons and ask them if you can ask questions. So once you get in contact with these people, you just need to find out what the main things that they did that they attribute their success to. Now ideally, if you want to get the very best results, then you should find several different people who have been successful in the way that you want to be successful and interview all of them. Like I said, most people don't do this step because it is a little bit tedious and can be a little bit challenging, but it can make a huge difference in how successful you are, and it can save you a lot of wasted time down the road, because if you don't do this, then you might think that you need to take certain steps and do certain actions in order to achieve your goal, but you might be wasting your time because those steps that you're taking might not be the steps that are really moving you forward towards achieving your goal. Okay, so after you have interviewed several different experts, then you can move on to step 3, which is to create a big picture plan of how you're going to achieve your goal. So you don't need to get into the nitty-gritty at this point. You just need to identify the 5 or so main steps that you will need to take in order to achieve your goal. So for example, if you want to start a business, then maybe the first thing you need to do is figure out exactly how your business is going to help people or what product you're going to provide. And then maybe the second step that you need to take is to find people to build your team to help grow your business. Then maybe the third step is to create some systems so that you'll be able to serve your customers well. The fourth step might be to market and promote your business. And then the 5th step might be to get additional financing so that you can scale your company. So obviously this is just an example. I just want you to understand what kind of steps I'm talking about. Basically, you just need to create a big picture plan so that you know what to focus on and in what order. It's okay if your plan isn't perfect, and you'll probably rewrite your plan a few times along the way. But if you don't have a plan, then it will be very hard to stay focused and you'll feel a lot more overwhelmed. Okay, the 4th step for achieving big goals is to then take the very first big step that you identified. So out of those 5 or so big steps that you identified that you need to take in order to achieve your goal, just go back to that very first step that you identified, and you need to break it down into minuscule detail. So if you're trying to write a New York Times bestseller, and the first step in your plan is to write the book, and obviously that is the most important first step that you need to do, that can still seem very overwhelming. So you need to really break it down. Maybe the first thing you need to do in order to write the book is to outline the chapters. Maybe you need to interview some people to be adding content to the different chapters. Maybe you need to set a writing goal of writing 500 or 1,000 words every single day. Whatever the little steps that you need to take to achieve that first big step are, you need to figure out exactly what they are and get really clear on it, because when you just have one big step that you're working on, it can still feel overwhelming and like too much, and it can make you procrastinate on it. But when you break it down into tiny little bite-sized steps, things like putting on your gym shoes to go to the gym so that you can eventually become healthier, then it seems much easier and much more attainable. Okay, now step 5 for achieving your big goal is something that I think a lot of people skip because they think that it's unnecessary and they think that they can achieve their goal without doing this, but the fact that you haven't achieved your big goal yet kind of proves that you probably need to take all of these steps so that you can be successful in the future. So anyway, step 5 is to schedule time on your calendar to work on your goals. So if achieving your big goal is truly a priority in your life, then it would make sense for you to give it priority in your schedule also. So sure, you might like watching TV or watching movies or hanging out with your friends or reading books or whatever you enjoy spending your time on, and that's fine, but if you really care about achieving your goal, then you need to give it priority in your schedule. That means you block out hours of time every week to focus on achieving your goal. Take a look at your calendar and see where your time is going right now. Are you spending time on things that don't really align with your priorities? If so, check out this video up here that I made a few weeks ago about how to organize your schedule around your priorities. I think you'll find it really helpful. Now, step 6 for achieving your big goal is the last step, and that is to stay focused on working towards your goal. And I think that a lot of people try to use this step as their only tactic. They think, yeah, I want to write a New York Times bestseller, or I want to get in great shape. And then they think, I just need to stay focused. But the reality is that if you don't do steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then it's very difficult to stay focused because you're constantly getting distracted by other things that aren't your priority. You're not sure exactly what your goal is because you haven't clearly defined it, you haven't made it a priority in your schedule, and you're not even sure what the big steps that you need to take in order to be successful are. So make sure that you do steps 1 through 5 before you try to do step 6, but step 6 is still very important. Basically, what I mean by stay focused is stay committed to the plan that you already created when you defined those big steps that you needed to take, and then you figured out what little actions you needed to take to achieve that first step. Don't let yourself get distracted by other projects or things that you think might help you achieve your goal faster. Remember what your mentors and the experts that you interviewed told you back in step 2 and stay focused on those things that they told you will make a big difference. So just a little example of this would be if you want to get in really good shape and you interview some people and they tell you you need to lift weights 2 times a week and you need to do cardio 2 times a week, just for example. And they also told you that it's important that you eat a clean diet and that you focus on counting your macros. And again, this is just an example. But if they told you that those are the key things that you need to be focused on, but then you get distracted and you decide to try this juice cleanse that a bunch of your friends are doing and they seem to be liking it, well, that juice cleanse might help you lose a few pounds, but that's not what you learned were the main steps that you needed to take in order to get into really good shape, so it's just a distraction. Okay, so let's just summarize real quick. The first step that you need to take in order to achieve a big goal is to define exactly what you're trying to achieve. The second step is to find a mentor or expert to interview to help figure out exactly what actions you need to take in order to achieve that big goal. The third step is to create a plan of the big steps that you need to take to achieve your goal. The fourth step is to break down exactly what you need to do for the first phase of achieving your goal. The fifth step is to seriously schedule time into your calendar to focus on the actions you need to take to achieve your goal. And finally, the sixth step is that you need to stay focused on the plan that you've created and not get distracted by other things. Okay, well that's everything that I have for you today, but just remember these strategies for how to achieve your goals or how to do anything only work if you do, so make sure that you actually start with the first step and do it before you move on to the next step. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. If so, please hit that thumbs up button to let me know and to help more people find this video, and also leave me a comment below to let me know what big goal you're working on. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I make 2 videos every single week about intentional living, entrepreneurship, and success, and I would love to have you join me for the next one. Also, I've got a free resource for you that can really help you plan your schedule around your priorities and around achieving your goals. It's called the Priority Planning Pack, and I've got a link down below where you can download it for free. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.